Hey everybody, it's Nick Lydorf. It's January 2nd, 2021. I am in my office. As you can see, there's my degree. There's my degree behind me. It's right there. So I had a problem with the stream. My Twitch connection was not working. So I should have checked the video and audio. Hopefully, yep, you can hear me. Cool. So I am excited to talk with you guys. I have some things that I'll try and take a look at the chat. For some reason, it wasn't showing up yesterday. So I'll try and pay attention to the chat and Facebook. I'm probably going to do this on my comedian Facebook page because it says I can read the comments from there. So I might do that tomorrow in that one. So a couple things I want to talk with you about. Number one is something I discovered on how I can schedule everything that I need to do during the week, which I think is pretty useful. I don't know if you have a way to doing that. I didn't know a real good way to do it, and I kind of discovered one, and I want to share that with you. So I'll take about 10 minutes with that. And then the last 10 minutes, I'll just review kind of some jokes I'm working on and chime in at any point and let me know if you have any questions or, think something stupid or whatever. Please be respectful. I don't know. I would appreciate that. So let's get into the first thing. So the thing that I discovered on how to really tackle scheduling is a system called Monday Hour One. And I won't share my screen yet, but just pull that up there. So Monday Hour One is a way of taking your entire week and putting it into a calendar and then trying to stay accountable and making sure you get all those things done. And I found it to be really helpful. And the first thing you do is you take a blank page and something that you can hold in your hand. So, that can, scrap piece of paper or whatever, but something you can write down on. And then on this, you're going to take and you're going to write everything that you need to do that week. And you're going to do this in the first thing that you do on Monday morning. And that's why I call it Monday Hour One, because it's the first hour of the week. So you're going to have a list of everything and write all the different things on there, like, buy duct tape and rope, and clean out the trunk, stuff like that. But you write it all in here, just a dump, like a memory dump of everything, because there's a lot of studies on how you can be way more productive if you don't have to rely on your memory for things. Our brains weren't really designed to be storage facilities for things. So it helps if you write everything down. So you take the way that I do this, I take about 40 minutes, 45 minutes uninterrupted, turn off the phone, you have nothing open, and no way of anyone getting a hold of you. So if you want to do this earlier in the morning, or you have the ability to just shut everything off, do that. So you take that, and then what you'll do is you'll take that list, and then you will go to your calendar, and then what you're going to do is I'll share my screen. Let's see. All right. So I share my screen with you. I tried to pick one where this shouldn't have any client information on it. So you'll be able to, there should no one's information on there. I got my Wednesday mental health counseling appointment, but whatever. Not a big deal. Not concerned that you can see that. So then what you're going to do is you're going to so I've got this scheduled. Monday Hour One is the first thing you're going to schedule every week. You want to have that blocked off. The other thing on the first time you're going to do this is you're going to want to schedule like stuff like sleep. I know it sounds stupid, but I found if you write all the stuff down and you try and stick to this, it really helps you in terms of productivity when it comes time to start your day. So right now I've got blocked off, every morning at 7, I'm going to try and that's where I'm going to do my 1 hour of writing. And then I'm going to go to bed at 10 o'clock because I'm an old man. So I like to get up in the morning and when it's quiet and I can get stuff done. I also blocked off my lunch. I kind of do lunch a little bit early. And then I also have blocked off stuff like a day right before I leave the office. I want to wrap things up and finish up like just some emails and things like that. So then dinner. Wednesdays, I've got a podcast that I do with Lou Michael. You should check that out. It's called Free Consultation. So then I keep that here. So then what you'll do is you'll take every one of these items that you wrote on that white piece of paper and you'll put it into this calendar. You're also going to account for things like travel time when that was a thing. A lot of stuff we can just do at home and on Zoom, so you might not have to worry too much about that anymore. But make sure you leave open gaps for things so you're not back to back. Because the whole point of this is when it comes to this, let's say 2 o'clock on Monday, and I've got, whatever it is, like order groceries, then at that time, you're going to be doing that thing. And you want to have that kind of blocked off and you're going to hold yourself accountable and you're going to do those things. Because what I found is this time when this hour, Monday hour 1, where you're doing that, it's incredibly helpful to write all this stuff down. But then when you get to this point, like for me in the afternoons, because I get up kind of early, it's hard to follow through on some of those things. So I just want to make sure that I'm maybe taking that into account when I'm scheduling my day, because I don't want to do something that's really difficult in the afternoon because I'm going to be, a little bit tired and groggy, and cranky because I'm a child. You schedule all those things out. It's going to look really full. But then when you take all of that stuff, you're going to have this all written on that sheet of paper. And then when you are done with it, you're going to take that piece of paper and you're going to throw it away, because you would have written down all your things. You checked them all off and then you don't have to worry about that anymore. So that's Monday hour 1. Then you go through your day. Also during Monday hour 1, you're going to schedule each day. This is going to sound wild, but you're going to schedule 2 hour block of time called focus time. You pick whenever that's going to be. And again, like in the Monday hour 1, you cannot be interrupted at all through that time. So you got to figure out when you're going to be able to do that. So for me, I usually pick my focus time in the early morning times where I'm not going to be, it's easy to not be bothered by stuff. No phone, nothing, no interruptions, as much as you can keep that. And you're showing up and you're doing things like focusing on, the thinking process of ideas. So you're going to, what are your goals? Like, if you run a business, like what are my revenue goals for this month? And then maybe one of these days you're going to look at focus time and you're going to look at how am I going to achieve that revenue goal, whatever it is. And you're working during that time. You show up at that time. You're honoring yourself and you're staying honest with yourself, and you're showing up and you're getting that work done. So you're going to have Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, those focus times. You can do that on the weekend if you want to, if you want to have some focus time. I'm just starting out with this, and so I kind of want to stick to the same schedule regardless of day. It's a lot easier during the pandemic too, because a lot of the days sound like the same anyway. So you do that. Then when you've blocked out all of the time on your schedule, you're going to take this piece of paper and you're going to throw it away. Then you show up and you do what you're supposed to do. And I will tell you that it feels really good when you look at the end of the week and the last thing that you do is Friday hour done. And you schedule that every time. That's the last piece of work that you're going to do on Friday. And it can be an hour or half hour, whatever it is, where you're just looking at everything that you did and, what worked, what didn't work. And during the week too, you're going to have, what I do is I keep an index card next to my computer, blank. And this one, I've added things that I need to do for this upcoming January 4th Monday hour one. That's where I'm going to make sure I add these things into my Monday hour one for the next week. So I think that makes sense. That's what this is. And I think it's something that's super helpful. If you have questions about it, let me know. Or if you've done this before, if you have different ways of doing stuff, I always like to figure out different ways of doing things. And I think this is really helpful, and I think you might do it. It might work for you. So that is Monday hour one. I am going to hide that. Then let's go into writing right now. Okay, so that should be on there. Let's go. I did 51st jokes last night. I recorded a 2-minute clip of some of the stuff that we talked about yesterday. So this, how COVID is different, and how it made being a lawyer completely different. And let's see. So now what so we talked about this one yesterday. I made some edits to it. I think the one thing that I'm going to focus on when I write now is, instead of just putting things on the page, is getting it out there, but then making sure it's edited and going deeper than just the surface. We talked about that yesterday with that David Lynch quote that I saw about like how creativity, the big ideas survive underneath the surface, like the big fish that, when you go fishing. I'm not a fisherman, but apparently that's where the big fish are. So is the deeper you can get, the bigger fish, the more important ideas, the more game-changing ideas that you can have, and they're deeper, and they require you to do more thought and put more work into it. So just trying to edit these things as much as possible. Like, some people I've seen that what works for them is, not necessarily having a process and just kind of showing up and writing on stage and things like that. I don't have that kind of time to just show up on stage and write on stage. If I was 18 years old and I didn't have a family and a kid, I could, take some time to screw around on stage and not have a goal with what I want to do with each set. But when things open back up, I want to have a plan of what I want to work on and where I want to go, and try and record an album whenever that's going to be. So I've got stuff that I have a cork board over there with a bunch of jokes on it that probably are going to be burned. No one's going to want to listen to stuff that happened pre-COVID. So we're going to have to kind of like adjust that. And maybe some of those jokes aren't going to work anymore. So I'm going to pick and choose some things that will work, and have to work from there. But so the things we worked on yesterday, I kind of edited this joke, and the thing that I learned from Kyle Kinane, who's one of my favorite comedians. I got the chance to work with him in Grand Rapids, and one of the things I heard him say was that when he has a creative writing degree and a background in creative writing, and he wanted stuff to be funny on the page first. And that's kind of the same kind of idea that I come at it from, because I need to try and test it out first, because not only do I like the way that sounds, if it sounds on paper that's funny, I can always add something while I'm performing that's going to try and make it funny, So, but if it's not funny here, I'm probably not going to have the success with what I want it to do if I'm just going to go out and try it at an open mic, because it's probably going to take 3 or 4 times before I get the wording right. But if I spend the time here in the thought process and wording it correctly, then I'm going to know where I want to go with it, and I'm going to minimize the amount of time I'm, spending on a joke that might not work. If it's not funny, it doesn't sound funny on the page. So the other thing too that I want to implement more in my writing is thinking about the subtext of a joke. So to me, subtext is kind of the point of the joke, but you don't say it, right? It's kind of that question that someone asks you after they tell you, like, you get it? Do you get that? Like, it answers that question. Like, if you can get the point of what that that joke is. So, like, for instance, and this might not be a good example, but we're working on these, so it's not that much of a problem. Let's see if I can find an example. So this is the ones that I was editing. So I guess, well, I'll come to an example here when I get to one, but basically the subtext of this would be how, it was terrible being a lawyer before COVID, and now it's so much easier. Kind of don't want to say that in the subtext in the joke itself, because you want it to be kind of something that is discoverable from what you're telling to the audience, I guess. Anyway, so I want to work on subtext and make sure that there's something that's going to be a payoff for the audience. It's going to be worth listening to it, and kind of fits into that David Lynch quote about trying to go deeper to get kind of the more creative things. So let's see. So this one I edited. Seen some crazy shit going on in Zoom court. It's like the Wild West. I say that because I saw a dude show up to court with a gun. And the judge was like, I don't fucking know what to do. Just mute him, I guess. And like the idea of like how the gun's dangerous, but like, his words at that point were way more dangerous than a gun. And he's like, well, the Second Amendment gives us the right to bear arms. Sir, this case is about a parking ticket. So the other thing that I shared yesterday that I told on 51st Jokes was another guy showed up shirtless to Zoom court. Like, how confident do you have to be showing up in a hearing where you could possibly go to jail and you're and you're not wearing a shirt? It's like your dating profile video. Like, you show up and talk to the judge like, hey, what's up, girl? Then like the only thing that you have to do in a Zoom court is not be an idiot. And he couldn't do that for 90 seconds. That's how long his hearing was. I don't know if this, and then this is like kind of the button on that joke. Like, to me, one thing that I heard when I was thinking about not wearing a shirt and like rules, I was thinking like the convenience store rules, like no shirt, no shoes, no service. Couldn't think of a third one, but so no shirt, no justice. That's kind of what I was thinking, because it's just like we all have to put clothes on to show up to court, even if I'm not wearing pants. At least I'm faking it up top. Another thing that I wanted to talk about was how lady was smoking during her hearing. I just thought that was so wild. That when I showed up in the middle, like I logged in and there was already a hearing taking place, and this woman was talking with the judge, and she was an older lady, and she had one of those Virginia Slim, like long ass cigarettes that was like about like stuck. I don't smoke, but I always have to laugh when someone's got the cigarette stuck to the bottom of their mouth, and that's just like a walking around. That's a normal event for them. They're just stuck on the bottom of their lip, and they're able to just carry out through their day with a smoking long ass lit cigarette. And she's on her Zoom hearing, and the judge, who is like a sweet man, like if that happened to me, I would like lose my mind. I would be like, what the fuck are you doing? Like, this is wild. And he politely asked her, ma'am, can you please put out your cigarette? Like, and then here I was like he was an usher in a movie theater. And then I tried to do a callback, I guess, to the first joke that I wanted to tell here in this chunk about, being a lawyer and not wearing pants. So then I'm I'm sitting there wearing my Iron Man underwear. Like, the nerve on some people. Some people have no sense of decorum. That's kind of wordy, but the point is like the idea of me doing a callback with me sitting there judging another person while I'm wearing Iron Man underwear during my hearing. I think I'm happy with that. I'm happy with this little chunk about the lady, because I think the subtext with this is like people don't take their lives seriously, maybe, and how we're now seeing that because we're in their home, and because of Zoom, everything's on in their house and that. So yeah, I'm gonna wrap it up in a couple minutes here, but let's see. Last one. Two in here too. So one guy showed up late, and I don't know what his deal, but he said that there was traffic. I don't know if he was joking. He wasn't laughing, but like, I don't know if he shows up late on a Zoom hearing and says that there was traffic. And so I wrote that down when that happened, because I was like, what is happening? like, did he mean like traffic on the information superhighway? Dipshit. Like, so yeah, I and then I had this here, like, that's like, and then I want to insert some sort of analogy here, because I think that one might be a good point for this. The last thing that I wanted to talk in this chunk was about how I saw this lawyer show up for his Zoom hearing, and he was driving during it, and I just thought that was wild that this lawyer shows up trying to defend some other person who broke a law, and the lawyer's breaking like several laws during this hearing. And I'm trying to think of an analogy here too. One thing I'll talk about and I'll work on again tomorrow here is someone asked me who's my favorite judge, and actually my favorite judge is Judge Judy. And so then, because Judge Judy, when I watch it, it makes me happy, and I want to talk about that because I think I like Judge Judy. Anyway, maybe that's just me. I'm not sure, but I think that's it. So yeah, I will be back again tomorrow. I don't know what time yet. I will schedule that, and then we will we'll kind of go from there. I appreciate everybody checking in and saying what's up, and I will be back tomorrow.